In this video tutorial, we're going to be covering the balance of the screens, and these are the screens here we're going to be covering. Now they are exactly the same on both item menus, so we're going to go through under the iPad menus because they're all going to be the same size. Now one of these we've already looked at, which is the data bank, which is the one we covered in the last video. Let's go ahead and start now, and we're going to look at the student list view. Now if you go up here, these are going to be the list of the different students, the semester, and the grade average, and what semester they're in. So when you create your own records or those for other people, maybe in your family, you would see the name of the person, the year, the semester they're in, the major, and the grade point average, which is the summary of all the courses, and the sum of the credits for the classes. So if I clicked over here, you would see that same information in this area right here on the main screen where you added the new record at the beginning of the course. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the next screen. This one in this case is going to be the assignment screen, and this would be a list of each assignment that you're given. This is the one that'll make it easy for you to find, and then the actual name, we're using the full name over here so you can see who was the actual person that this was assigned to. If you're in a multiple user type of environment, which you can with this, you would have different people with their names in there based on the class that they're in. And of course, clicking on this is going to bring you back to this assignment screen where we were before, where the assignments are installed for that particular semester, for that particular major and minor. Okay, let's go to the next one, which is the class list. The class list is the list of the classes that you created and the times and the days that you're going to actually be going to the classes. So you could pop in here. Now, on the last video that we're going to be doing, I'm going to show you how to use the finds and set the finds for looking for different information, especially within list views. Now, for each record, if you had a lot of them, it's going to fill the entire screen with records in here. So you're going to want to be able to manage finding different records in here. Now, I'm remiss in some respects because I just threw a little bit of data in some of the records, but you could see that this information is in here. Now, as I pointed out before, in the individual screen you're looking at, you can modify this information for your class when you overwrite the record, then go ahead and modify these to fit your class and class schedule that you're working with. Down here, I just put a simple instruction and information. You can overwrite this as well. Okay, let's go to the next screen here. In this case, we're looking at the test portal itself. Now, when you leave the actual testing area and you want to see a larger view, so you're editing this, the test view portal for test records is going to be the portal for individual records. Now, the reason for having a screen for the individual records is so that within the portal area, which is down in here, this is an individual record, you would be able to do a find in those fields. So if I went in here, you would see that I can go ahead and actually, even though it's a text field with a lot of data in it, I could put a word in there like red, and of course it's not going to show any red, but I just want to show you this. It'll say no records were found with that criteria, and you could say modify it. And now in this case, I might want to go back and take that out and put in test. So let's go ahead and back that out. Oh, I'm going to have to replace it. I can't see the keys because they're blue. I think it's this one. Yeah, there we go. I don't know why it was doing that, but basically I would put in, say, test, the word. I know that test is out there. And you don't even have to finish the whole word, for example. If you had test anywhere in the system, it would find it. So what it did is it flipped over and said one record found with the word test, and the rest of them, and I can show you, if I click in here and go here, you're going to see that there are two records that were omitted, and we're on the first record in the found set. And now I can just say show all again, and now they'll all come back. And all three records are now back in the set. Then I can go ahead and say done. And now you can see that the word test was in the record that I actually found. And you could use it in this field, these fields, any of the fields over here, and any of the records down here. So if you had a specific record, say like it was the name of that French castle we talked about, and it was in here and you're discussing it, and you can't remember which screen it was in, just go ahead and throw it in any one of the individual records and it'll find it and bring it up. Then it'll show you how many records pertain to that particular word if you had it in multiple tests or test areas that you would have in there. Okay, let's go to the next record. And in this case, we're in test records. We're going to studies portal. Same situations. The studies portal is now used in finds and stuff like that to find information specific to either of these fields or these, or you could always use these if you needed to, or the notes field. So you have the ability to track and find information based on criteria of some word. And let's just do one for fun called global, because I looked before I actually started to work, and I'll say the word global. In this case, global is there, so I can just click on it and add it. And of course, now it found that one record and left two, so there's 3 total. And there's the word global in the record. Now again, I could play this game. I can click here, and say show all, and it brings all the records back. But there's also another way to do that. I can go to the top of the screen in the Do Action button, and I can say show all. So it does the same thing. Or I can say show omitted, omit a record, export records, export information. Now, just so you know, you cannot import into an iPad or an iPhone. The reason for that is there's no facility on the iPad to allow you to import. This is actually here in case you have the Mac or Windows version of this application. But you can export data. And we're going to be covering that in the last screen, or last video that we do, I should say. So let's go up here and say, we just did studies. We're going to go to the data bank. Now we showed the data bank before and covered this, but basically you could do the same thing in this screen. Of course, you can't do a search for an image, but you can use this word, or you can use any of the other fields in the screen to go ahead and find that particular record you're looking for. Okay, so let's go to the last one down here, which is the class calendar. Now the calendar is something that if there's a different event that is not a class, and it's something that is related to a class, a field trip, a special presentation, extra credit thing if you go to a show, or maybe you're an art major and you're going to you want to schedule different things for art exhibits and stuff like that. This is where you would come to do that. And what you would do is you'd come up here and click on the More, go down to Calendar, and then it would bring up the Google Calendar. Now you will have to log in and have an account. It's a free account, so you can just get a Google or Gmail account. And once you have a Gmail account, you would go ahead and do next put the Gmail address in here next and put in the password, and it would allow you to see the calendar and edit it. The reason for that is there are many people out there with calendars, and they all have their own email account and they have their own passwords. So you would have to have your own in order to see the calendar that you have. Now, obviously, what's nice about this is that if you edit it here, and then you say go out on a browser, any other browser, you can still access your Google Calendar. But in this case, it's within the application, and whatever you change on your username and password for Google Calendar would now be seen on the Google Calendar in your regular Google Calendar. Okay, in order to get back out of here, all you have to do is just change the screen one way or the other. In this case, if I went to the next record, you'll see that it comes back to the Google account again. So and then I can always go back to the first record, and we're back in, and there's the calendar. Now it held the last thing that I had in there, which is kind of nice if you need to do that. Okay, so we've completed the entire application all the way down through all the menus for both menu options. The next thing we're going to be doing as a video is we're going to step through some of the little bit more interesting things as far as what this application can do. Now, we touched slightly on them in this video doing finds, but I'm going to point out some other things that are unique to the different screens. Thank you.